I want to talk a little bit about the highest rated DPS for SMGs. As you know, I'm currently at the topped off highest level that Epic allows you to go in this game. So, you know, pretty much what you see here is the damage that you will accomplish once your offense stat goes up to its max. Technically, I can make it go a little bit higher to 3251 if I were to move around my troops a little bit. I'm just trying to hope. I'm trying to get a hero with a lead with this personality, adventure, so I can transfer this one from resistance to offense, so I can have my tech and my offense the highest. But anyways, speaking of SMGs, I've seen a lot of people trying to compare the Mercury LMG, the Hacksaw, the Terminator. They're all great. They all shoot 100 bullets. I build them straight up for damage and reload speed, which it's something I have fun with. But I wanted to bring something up. Essentially, the highest rated DPS AR that you can play and save the world currently is the Paint Train. When you go for pure damage, when you're doing a damage build, this one's the only one that allows you to go the highest. It's 155,000. Of course, this is a 130, and I'm maxed out. But the Mercury LMG goes to 141,000, same thing, and then the other one's 133 for the Hacksaw. I like playing with the Hacksaw a little bit better than the Mercury LMG, just because the Hacksaw is cheaper to manufacture bullets and gun and everything. It's not that bad to craft bullets for the Mercury LMG, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying because it seems you can only carry 3,000 and they consume bacon, and it's one of those things where it's kind of a little bit annoying, to be honest with you. But other than that, the Paint Train and the Obliterator are my two main guns. They just melt. I go with damage builds because I'll rather have a for sure damage that I know I'm doing than chance it. I don't really like chancing it that much, but I am gonna talk a little bit about how this game, the end game of this game. So you see right here, I have two different shadow shards. They have a different 6 perks. So essentially, this game, it's a game that like the Moonsoon right here. I got 2 with deflection damage. One of them is an obsidian, one of them is a shadow shard. They're essentially the same build. The difference in DPS is 6,000 between the two. Essentially, same goes with this guy right here, the pulverizer. I have one damage with snare and one damage with affliction. One is shadow shard, and the other one, well, they're both shadow shard at this point. I still need to get a snare and an affliction for obsidian. So essentially, this game goes on and on and on and on and on forever. I have the Sunsetter right here. That is a 106. And I also have an 82 that I'm working on. This one snares, the other one causes headshot explosions, so they're different. I'm probably going to make them both into Shadow Shard and then try to get a couple more into Obsidian with the same 6 perk. Weapons, there's only one of a kind so far in this game. I'm keeping them Shadow Shard for now. If I were to get a second one, I might go Obsidian, just if it has the same 6 perk. Let me see which one's a great example for that. Name, Frostbite. Where's the F? F. Frostbite. Whoa. F. O. F. O. F. This. Okay, there we go. We have a Frostbite. They both have the same 6 perks, so I'm going to have one Shadow Shard and one Obsidian. But yeah, this game, like I was saying before, this game has no end game to it, essentially. The only thing that really matters in this game is that you grind your way as quickly as you can out of Stonewood, Plankerton, and essentially Canny Valley. Just stick to the quest lines. The main quest, just make sure you're completing that. If there's something that you have to find, look for yellow exclamation marks on the map when you're running around the map. Open up your map and run around. If a yellow mark appears or pops up, go to it. That's essentially what your quest is. Just get out of those quest lines. They do take a little bit of time because they're trying to teach you how to farm for materials and stuff, essentially to do your dailies. When I go in to do dailies, if I'm near a building that has teddy bears inside, it will show me yellow exclamation marks on the map, and that's how I know there's teddies in there for my daily. When you're doing a mission like this that you have to find stuff, yellow exclamation marks are your best friends. Just get out of there, and then the game is pretty much repeating the same missions over and over again for experience. Right now, Twine Peaks is, I do this mission right here to farm gold and tickets because I have it, and it's essentially better than a level 100 mission for ticket wise. When you farm all 10, you end up with like almost 2,000 gold. So you know, there's no reason why you don't want to level up your survivors, your squads. Make sure you get your squads high up. Offense, tech, and resistance are the 3 main ones you should focus on. Offense for damage, resistance so you can take damage, and tech so your stuff can do damage. Of course, if you're not a player that uses their tech a lot, their abilities, then don't worry about tech. But increasing your offense will let you do more damage with your guns. Again, there's people that don't care about the level, but honestly, I feel that if you level up as high as you can, you don't have to worry about the game being too difficult, and then you can just worry about farming XP. I kid you not, guys, I made it out of Twine Peaks with just my Hacksaw 106. I didn't really have a lot of 106s. When I was playing Twine Peak levels, I didn't focus on leveling up anything except traps to 82s and then 106s for Twine Peaks. With this recent update, I got all these 130s. They're coming pretty much from the XP that you're getting out of the missions now. That balloon mission has 3 tickets of XP. It has a hero and 2 schematics. I'm getting 144,000 schematic XP out of those 2 tickets, and the 55,000 for the hero XP. Heroes, I'm gonna need a lot of XP because I had to downgrade a couple heroes to 106s or 82s to be able to get every single one of them to 82. So I can do little builds and, you know, mess around. These guys are 20 right here. They're either useless because I already have one at 82, or they are heroes that essentially had the same standard perk, commander perk as somebody else, so there's no point in leveling them up. They do not let you double up in this game, so if you already have your commander that does increase assault damage on 50%, you cannot equip this one that does 17% on your team perk. Who's the other one that does that? I think Ramirez? School Ranger Ramirez? Nope. One of them does. Doesn't really matter. Point is, you can't double up, so if you have a hero that has the same perk as somebody else, there's no point in leveling him up unless you want to play with that hero. There's not that many like that. There's a couple. Enforcer Grizzly is one of them. Where's that little sucker? I don't even know what he looks like. I never play with that guy. This guy? Yeah. So he has a Teddy duration of 4 seconds, or when he's in your team, or a duration of 12 seconds when he's your commander, and that's increasing the normal time. So if you're a Teddy person, Enforcer Grizzly or Jingle Jets are the 2 best ones for Teddy, just because they extend Teddy by so much. Never timed Teddy, but I think it's like a 10-second that he lasts when you first throw him out. Where's Jingle Jess? Right here. Jingle Jess has the exact same perk as Enforcer Grizzly, so if you have Enforcer Grizzly or Jingle Jess, you only need one at 82 or higher for the perks. Having them both at 82 is a waste of time, a waste of resources, just because you cannot equip 2 of the same perk on the same team. I don't know why. Honestly, if I want to put all Teddy duration in my team, I should be allowed to. I don't think Epic should have a say in that, just because, you know, they're allowing me to do whatever I want in the game now. Essentially, that's what their whole point of doing this hero system is. So it's kind of stupid that they don't let you double up on the same perk. It's just dumb, to be honest with you. But whatever, you know, it's Epic. So hopefully, you know, they won't fuck things up anymore, and maybe they'll make it better. But, you know, hopefully they'll make it better. Let's see. So gun wise, I stick with the paint train, 30 bullet capacity, highest DPS. It kind of melts zombies away. I did not make it into crit build because it's a 10% crit chance, and honestly I feel like it would be a waste. Same goes with my Hacksaw and the Mercury LMG. I think they recently changed the affliction damage, unless I'm wrong. I thought it was 3 seconds before, but I feel like I'm getting tricked here. But anyways, so like I said before, you know, if you like using LMGs, high damage, you know, high bullet capacity, there's another like the Mercury LMG that's the highest damage Mercury, like the highest 100 bullet capacity gun there is, highest damage overall would be the paint train. The Gravedigger, it's pretty close, you know, in damage to the Hacksaw. I was expecting a little more of a Gravedigger. I'm going to be changing the element of energy into physical for all my guns, except for that one. Just because physical tends to do a little more of a punch overall. Let's see here. And then I wanted to bring you guys a couple builds for soldiers, the way that, you know, I've been playing with them. We're gonna start with this guy, Bright Bomber, or what's his name here? Light Show. He is one of the free heroes you get out of the hero quest once you get into Canny Valley Storm Shield 2. And this guy's fun to use with an LMG because he has increased magazine size by 90%. Which means that, you know, a magazine of 100 bullets turns into 190 bullets. So it's a 190 shot magazine for the LMGs. So this is one of those LMG builds. Right here you can either use slow your roll, so you freeze enemies that hit you. You can use healing received. You can use a preemptive strike, so you know you're doing more damage when you hit. Startup, because if you're using an LMG and you know you're shooting at least 25 bullets out, that is 25% extra damage for every shot after 25. Then we're talking about really doing this one right here, which increases weapon damage when you first switch weapons, or reload. That way, whenever you reload, by the time this kicks in, you're still having that little buff, so it kind of helps you keep that damage high up. Right here, it's an increased assault damage. Oh, this is the other girl that has assault damage. Rescue Trooper. That's why the other guy doesn't have that. I have explosive rounds just because I like to explode zombies. It's just satisfying to watch so many explosions go off when you're shooting people. Assault weapons have a 24% chance to refund ammo. Essentially, you know, if everything plays right, you're getting about 1 in 4 bullets back into your inventory. So you're saving a little bit of that 190 bullets. You're saving 25 or 30 bullets essentially if you're lucky. Which means, you know, every 4 clips you get half a clip free. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, epic. And then if you like to go for straight up damage builds, this guy right here gives you an increased range weapon damage by 2% and a fire rate by 1.2% for a maximum of 25 stacks. So this one's a fun to use with an LMG as well, because you end up with a 50% damage and a 30% fire rate. So right here you're already boosting your weapons by a lot. If you play this game, that is a big boost right here. I like Keep Out with the soldier that has frag grenades because of the residual energy that keeps damaging zombies. At this point, you know, this kind of build, you can increase his frag grenade damage, his going commando, or his war cry. I like to improve his going commando cooldown so that I can use him more often. I've been having fun with this girl right here, Jolly Headhunter. She's been fun because, you know, even though it says 15% chance to drop a present, I get a present every other husk I kill. And, you know, those little presents, they're kind of fun to use because they don't seem like a lot of boost on your stats. But once you're playing in the mission itself, you know, the movement speed, the energy back, or, you know, just the increased damage, it makes a big difference. And I know it doesn't seem like it, but once you start playing, you start, like, you know, playing with or without this extra boost, it does make a difference. And then Lock and Reloaded, you know, it gives you first 5 seconds of weapon damage boost, so that while your startup takes, you know, increases in damage, you're essentially doing extra damage. Again, the explosions, but you can be changed to something else. And in a pinch, just because it gives me back a little bit of that shield, but then at the same time, you know, this guy, I can put something on that does more damage. I can do something like this where it shoots, it complements my going commando. I have 2 of them going for going commando. You know, essentially this is a fun one to use for high magazine bullet. And then this is another one that I built also for high damage, high bullet capacity, because she has in a pinch, when her magazine is empty, it reloads 50% faster and regenerates 13.5% of your shield. Again, that reload speed is phenomenal when you're playing, especially with the hacksaw that has 100 magazines on 100 bullets in the magazine. Then we have Startup, 25% extra damage by the time you shoot the first 25 bullets. Those little gifts, or, you know, if you don't feel like playing with the gifts, you can equip the Light Shadow, the Light Sprite guy. He gives you an extra 30% magazines, so essentially you get 130 bullets in your magazine if you like it. Mad Tidings, because it gives me 50 stacks. That's another one that, you know, I would equip here if I didn't want this guy right here. Or Explosive Rounds. I would definitely equip Mad Tidings, especially if I'm going to be doing a high magazine shootout. Just because, you know. But that's another thing I was going to touch. He's the last hero I was going to bring up. Anyways, so Mad Titan gives you a 50 stacks of extra damage. It reduces stability, but when you're fighting up in close, stability is not that big of a deal, especially because most people don't aim for headshots anyways. Most people just shoot. Like some people that I've run into, they say spray and pray. Honestly, I can't do that. That's why I like to do damage builds, because I like to aim and hit them in the head as much as I can for practice. I'm kind of trash when it comes to PvP games. I mean, I'm not that bad. I get into fights, and you know, it's one of those where I've taken off squads of 4 by myself. Not bragging about it, but doesn't happen that often. But you know, I don't play PvP a lot just because I'm not a big fan of shooting people. I don't know what it is about that. I just don't like it. Anyways, so coffee's delicious with no sugar. Anyways, you know, it gives you that buff and damage and explosive rounds. Again, you can switch a couple of them for more damage. There are plenty of heroes that increase your damage, but this kind of makes it fun. And then the last hero that I want, well, there's 2 more actually. Well, I already showed you that one. The last hero I wanted to show that is actually kind of fun to use is this guy, because when you main him and you're using a high capacity magazine bullet gun, like 100 bullets or 130, this one right here gives you a crap ton of damage. Essentially gives you 50 stacks of almost 3%. That's right, it's almost 150% weapon damage by the time this thing is done. This thing is a beast. And then I equipped shock short fuse and in a pinch together, because every 20 seconds my shield depletes. Like if I wait 20 seconds in between, you know, my shield breaking and regenerating and breaking again, shockwave gets reset the cooldown, and that can happen every 20 seconds. Shockwave, it's a pretty useful skill when you're surrounded. When you're in the middle of combat with the high magazine bullet that you don't even need to aim, you're just shooting all around you. Short fuse and a pinch play really well together. Once you're done with your magazine, you know, if you have a, let's see, let's do the math here so you get an idea of how long it takes. Let's say you're using the hacksaw. This thing shoots almost 10 bullets a second. 100 bullets in the chamber, that means we're shooting for 10 seconds, more or less. So if you take that into account when you're looking at this hero right here, every time you reload your magazine, every other reload is going to give you, you know, your essentially this reset right here. So if you're using a hacksaw, you're using the LMG that shoots 10 bullets a second and it has 100 bullets, every other reload essentially you're getting your short fuse reset. Especially if you're fighting in the center of combat with all the husk and stuff. One thing that I like to use more than keep out when I'm using a soldier like this one for drop in and fight in the middle of everything is slow your roll, just because, you know, it gives me a chance to get my shield back up. It gives me a little bit of chance to get away from being surrounded by husk. Sometimes just being surrounded by husk is what gets me killed, just because I get stuck and I can't jump, I can't move out of the way. It kind of freezes you, and I know this is something people know what I'm talking about. So this two play together, you get your shield back, you get your war cry, you get to hit zombies, you get to move faster. Present arms can be switched to something that complements shockwave if you want. Again, I like using it for the buffs, because even though it doesn't seem like that much, they do help a lot. But then again, you know, this is something that you can change for something that does more damage, or where is that? Let's see, what would I use instead of that one? We don't need energy wave because we have. See, we could use something like a frag grenade complemented with the keep out. It's a lot of things you can do in this game, but I wanted to bring, you know, the LMG fun, I guess you can call it. This might be, you know, one of the highest hitter ones, especially if you work with my tidings in there instead of this guy. Where's my tidings? I'm in the wrong section. There we go. The only thing is when you put him in your support squad, he only has 50% extra damage instead of 150%. But your weapon stability doesn't drop as much as the other one does. So, you know, equip him in your support team does have its benefits, especially when you're doing a build like this. The first 50 bullets are going to be the weakest, essentially. But at the same time, it's not. Because, you know, you're going to get that first 25 shots, 25% extra damage. First 50 shots, 50% damage. So that's 75% damage to the first 50 shots of your magazine. This guy has 190 bullet magazines, so you get 140 shots with 75% extra damage just by having this guy and Mad Tidings equipped. This girl right here gives you an extra 17%, so if you do the math, it's 75 plus 17 is 85, 93, 92% damage. This one right here gives you an extra 15% when you start shooting, so while Startup and Mad Tidings pick up, you have that extra damage here for the first 5 seconds. You got that extra damage that's always permanent. You got your bullets going back into your mag, and if you don't care about your mag bullets, then again you can equip something on here that, you know, complements either one of the other skills. Oh crap, why is it not? Oh, I need 4 stars. It don't matter. Point is, anything can work. One hero of each class are soldiers. Shake it off too. Let's equip this one for now. So essentially, yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had with different types of guns. LMGs, you know, the specific builds you can do, so you can take advantage of the high magazine capacity chambers. I could even change Airstrike right here into something like slow field, so that, you know, I can essentially do more damage while they're walking slow to me. I mean, it's already reducing their speed by 40% for 45 seconds. That's a big deal, you know. And if you play it right, you can actually freeze almost 4 tiles worth of zombies. You know, if you place it like in the corner between 4 tiles, it spreads so much that it almost affects 4 tiles. I know it says 1 tile, but it's all about placing, all about positioning, I guess you could say. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, just let you know that, you know, the pain train, if you can get your hands on it, it's definitely a weapon worth getting. It's fun to listen to when you're playing in the mission. 106s are pretty awesome. It has a lot of different builds you can do. Again, I go straight up with damage builds with every single weapon I have. The ones that are critical right now are because I'm kind of testing them out, but I'm not really liking the critical builds. Again, it's more your style, what you like or what you don't like. As far as the end game goes, like I always say, you know, this game has no real ending. There's so many different weapons that you gonna want to level up a couple of each with different 6 perk into Shadow Shard and Obsidian, just so you can see what the differences are, so you can play around with them. That's essentially what this game is about. You know, it's just, I've only done that with a couple of weapons, and I have a lot of work left. I'm probably not gonna go 130 anymore, just because I have the 130s that I would possibly ever need for anything. I have an AR, I have a rocket launcher, I have a sniper, and I have LMGs. At this point, you know, I'm pretty much set with 130s, I think. I just got carried away because there was so much XP that this thing was giving that I started getting my rocket launchers, and then I started getting my gold roll guns. This game gets you. This game gets you when you're playing it. I was going to work on a second one of those until I realized I wanted to work on my... Oh, here's that little gun. Let me show you what I worked on. You see I have right here, they're both headshot eliminations. One of them Shadow Shard, the other one's Obsidian, but give me a second. Name. So this one right here, I should have left it at 106, honestly, but now that it's at 130, I'm going to leave it at 130. And essentially what I'm going to be doing is, this is another example of what I'm talking about. So they all have headshot eliminations. They're exactly the same 6 perk. So at this point I have 1 in Shadow Shard, 1 in Obsidian, 2 in Shadow Shard. So this one's a damage build. I'm going to leave it specifically for damage. This other Shadow Shard that I have right here, I'm going to build it into a specific critical build. And then that way when I'm playing around, You know, I can see the differences between fighting Husk with the critical build and with the damage build, and I can see which one I like better. Of course I will be crafting that in 106 to test it out against this one when I do that, but excuse me. But essentially, you know, that's what I'm talking about this game. That this is your building ships inside of glass bottles. You are building essentially as many guns as you can, just because they're all different. The 6 perk is different. There's Shadow Shot and Obsidian, so there's 2 options right there, even if they didn't have a different 6 perk. So you're looking to build between 2 and 6 guns at least. If you really want to go for, like, you know, a full library of properly built guns and stuff, you're looking between 2 and 12 guns of each type built to 106s. And again, that's just to have damage, to have critical, to have different 6 perk on them. So you're looking at quite a bit of gun builds that you're going to be doing. So, you know, rule of thumb is I do not recycle any gold schematics. I do recycle blues, greens. I don't recycle that many purples. I recycle all of the normal schematic purples, and I just kept the event purples. Essentially what I do, I used to just recycle blues like this to get trap designs, weapon designs, but in recent epic changes, their transform got fixed, or maybe it's a bug, or maybe this is how they intend to use it. But essentially now if you recycle your blue schematics here instead of the other way, let's see, where are they? They fix that too. You don't have to scroll down every single time you want to recycle something. It just keeps on the place where you were last. So essentially, if I recycle them here now, I get the XP plus the design points, the weapon designs. Before, you were not getting the weapon designs when you recycled through here, so you were losing weapon designs. Now you're getting them as well, so it's definitely worth, you know, pinching pennies here, as I call it, and recycling as much as you can. 5 greens make 1 blue, 5 blues make 1 purple. Everybody should have blues to transform greens into blues. If you open little llamas like I do, I think I've opened 600 mini llamas so far in this game since I've been playing. 400 to 600, I'm not 100% sure of the number. But essentially, you know, you buy this flux right here, blue flux, and the white items they give you in the schematics, oh, it's all the way to the bottom, damn it. You take a white schematic, you increase its readily to green with 10 of that blue flux, and then you take 5 of those green ones and make them into 1 blue. You basically double your XP, because when you recycle this guy, you get 200 XP. When you recycle this guy, you get 400 XP. When you recycle the blue, you get 750 XP. So when you go from white to green, so you can transform greens into blues, you're essentially doubling up the XP on every schematic you're recycling. It is great for getting design points. It is great for getting training manuals if you're doing that with people. Essentially what support specialist Hawk is, I already have, never mind. He's a level 100 4-player mission right now, so let me see. You can do the same thing with people if you take 5 greens, which I don't have obviously, but if you take 5 greens, or what I like to do is 2 of those. I only have 1 of those. That. 2 of those. Essentially 30 points and you get a blue one. You get the points, you get the schematic, you can get the training manual, so yeah. Alrighty, so yeah. That is basically, you know, the guns in Fortnite. They are all fun to use, but some LMGs are a little bit better than others. Again, if you have your hands on the hacksaw, I would definitely use it. If you want the Mercury LMG, which is the highest rated DPS damage for you know, a heavy, for a machine gun, you can get that out of the collection book now. It is in the expansion schematics. They put the neon weapons on the schematics. You can purchase it. You can research schematic. It takes 60 weapon designs and 100 legendary flux. I'm probably going to be getting my hands on 1 more of those so I can see if I can get an affliction damage. But other than that, you know, Yeah, I want to get a second one. Because this one right here came with the 70% damage. I wonder if they all come with the same, because I think everybody has that perk. The reason I want to get a second one, and if anybody has a second one, is, you know, to see if it has a different perk like Affliction and see how it compares to this one. This one is deadly though. When you're fighting smashers, level 104 player smashers, you start shooting at them and their health just starts going down real fast when they start exploding. It shoots so fast that, you know, you're getting an explosion every second, boom, 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 and then you're getting little zombies around it. So focus your fire on smashers when you see them. And then builds, you know, if you want to mess around with soldiers with guns, there's a lot of fun gun builds, especially for LMGs. This one is one of the funnest ones I've been playing with, just because of his map tidings. It starts doing heavy damage, but once you have your finger on that trigger and you're just shooting away, it kind of starts melting things. And you know, it does take a little bit away from your stability right there, just because, you know, it is buffing it, but it's not that bad. It's 35% weapon stability that it drops. So if you really care about stability and you like this build, I would definitely, you know, something like if you're going to be using the Mercury LMG, you can modify one of the perks to have stability. And it's 60% weapon stability when it's gold. So, you know, instead of reload speed, I could have weapon stability, and that way when I'm losing 35% weapon stability, I'm still above it. Little things to think about if that's what you like to do. Again, that's not my thing. I just like to do damage and aim as much as I can. So yeah, I think that would be all for today. Just keep that in mind. Your collection book, everything is purchasable except for event people, event schematics, and personal. That's the only things that you can't buy out of the collection book. Personal, event people, and event schematics. Event people, you can buy them out of there if you have a voucher, one of those hero vouchers. Event schematics, you cannot buy them yet, so just hold on, people. We got the neon weapon set now in the store on the expansion set. The next one to come in the expansion set should be the lunar dragon stuff, and then after that should be the military set. Another thing, guys, if you're thinking of ever putting the weapons that you're leveling up into your collection book, do not go higher than 106. Reason being is, take a look at here right here. My hacksaw does not appear on the ones I can put it on, even though it's sunbeam. Neither does my obliterator. Only 106s can be put in here because they're considered crystal, I guess. And the crystal after 106 is not a crystal. So I'm not sure how that works. So it's something to keep in mind if you're going to be leveling up stuff. Let me know what you guys think. If anybody sees this and wants to give it a try, let me know what you think of the soldier builds, and if you have someone that might work better. I do have every hero, so I don't think I saw anything better, but I might have missed something. Alrighty.